Good morning, YouTube. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I have for you some coffee plants. So I have been experimenting with growing Arabica coffee plants in LECA. I hadn't come across anybody growing these in semihydro on the internet, and I thought I'd give it a try because I love the way the foliage looks on coffee trees. I think that they look awesome and can be great looking houseplants. So I bought these from my local nursery, and they came in a 4-inch pot, and there were several coffee beans that had been sprouted in that pot. And so I ended up giving away 3 plants to my friend once I had separated all the plants from the 4-inch pot. I have one larger plant back there that I'm keeping for myself, and then I am going to put these into bigger pots to give to one of my colleagues. And so anyway, they've been doing great in LECA. They are very thirsty plants, so I do have to check on the water level quite often. But overall, they've been very easy. They haven't had any pest issues. I do get spider mites in my house. They haven't gotten spider mites yet, and the leaves look to be in great condition in the setup that I have them in. So I would say that Arabica coffee, great plants for semihydro in LECA. Highly recommend as a houseplant. I don't see very many people talking about them. So I am going to be putting them into these naked root planters. I had seen the LECA Queen talking about these, and they looked like really nice pots. So they have quite a lot of slits in the sides of the pots that allow for great airflow through the media. And they do also have in the outer pot these holes, which they say you can use to water, but I don't ever end up using these to water. I just like them because they encourage airflow in that semihydro system, in addition to having these slits in the pot. So I have a bunch of LECA here that I have rinsed outside. I don't soak my LECA overnight in nutrient solution or anything like that. I experimented. At first I was doing that pre-soaking, but I decided to take a risk a while back and just try rinsing LECA and then using it straight away for repotting plants, and I haven't had any issues with that. I will put the link below to the brand of LECA that I use. I order it from Amazon, and this LECA, it's a little bit dusty, but it's less dusty than another brand of LECA I had tried. So I like this brand. It is a little bit expensive, but the size of the LECA and the dustiness of it, as well as the color, I think fit what I am looking for. Okay, so I think I'm gonna start with this plant that I just have in a plastic cup. It's been growing fine in the plastic cup, but it is time to put this into a bigger pot. So I am going to just put a handful of LECA into the bottom of the pot here, and then pour this out. Actually, I'm going to pour this over here. I really like how the root system in these plants has responded to the semihydro growth environment. So I haven't had any root rot. I get root rot with my aeroids, but these have had 0 issues since I got them. And they were growing in some potting mix when I bought them. So highly, highly recommend these plants for semihydro. They are super easy. I'm losing LECA. I really need a better way of putting LECA into pots, but I always just end up grabbing handfuls and then throwing them into the pot. around the plant. Seems to work fine. Okay. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So plant number 1 is done. Plant number 2, I already have in a smaller version of the naked root planters. And I will say, these planters, they advertise as being root pruning, but that doesn't happen if you're growing in semihydro. The roots that just grow into the solution, they just continue growing. So this is what it looks like at the bottom of the pot. You can see that the roots have grown all over the place. I think I'm going to probably end up losing some of these as I repot the plant. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to put some LECA into the bottom of this pot. And then let's see what our situation is with this plant. Yeah, this plant is a little bit stuck in this pot. So that, I find, is the downside to these types of pots, is if you let your root system get a little bit out of control, you might end up destroying the roots in the process of repotting. So I don't think I can get this out. I think that's really stuck. So we're going to cut off this root, and there's also a root that's grown out of one hole and into another hole here that I am sure is just totally stuck. So we're going to lose some root system here, but hopefully this plant doesn't mind. Okay, I think we are free. We've lost some roots, but here's what's left. I think this looks pretty similar to the other plant, so hopefully this is enough to support the leaves that are on these plants. So the funny thing I noticed about coffee is that the cotyledons look very different from the rest of the leaves. And that's something that I didn't realize until I purchased the plant. And I actually thought, so when I bought this plant, a lot of the plants were very young and they only had cotyledons, and it looked like there was different species growing in the 4-inch pot. But yeah, these are the cotyledons. They're very round and bumpy. And then if you compare them to the true leaves, they look totally different. So yeah, those are coffee plant cotyledons. So I use a mix of Foliage Pro, Great White, and SNS 209 in my nutrient solution, and that's been okay. That's been okay for me in the last year. So we're just going to keep going with that, and I think I'm going to give some of this to my colleagues so that they have some on hand until they can get the same nutrient solution. All right. Plant number 1 and plant number 2 are potted up and ready to go. So there we go, coffee plants are potted up and ready to give to some friends of mine. I wanted to show the plant that I am keeping for myself. So this plant is a little bit bigger than the other plants. I have it in the same planter, but the fun thing is that it has started branching. So the apex starts off growing from a single growth point, as you'll see with these younger plants. But then this slightly more mature plant most recently decided to branch, so it's got some axillary meristems now, and I am really looking forward to seeing how this plant starts looking as it gets bigger and bigger. I think it's going to be gorgeous. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, I love these Arabica coffee plants. Definitely recommend that you try them out in semihydro. They have been super easy for me. Zero problems with the transition. I did end up using the long method, so I had them sitting in water for a while, as the LECA Queen instructs in her videos, and they have been just doing awesome in this setup. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you next time. Take care.